Welcome, Dennis. It's nice seeing you here.
Give me a second, man. I'm gonna have to.
Sure. No worries.
Uh, all right.
So I think for the agenda today, we're thinking just a PG video. And what else?
MG. Well, I don't know if MG Vercott that's actually released or something.
Oh, it is. We can talk about that. I talked about it in another video, but we can do a follow-up because that's coming up pretty soon. I did want to talk about the entry grade that's coming out because that is a hot button topic for a lot of people. I mean, I mostly cover like the HG 1/144th scale stuff. So yeah. I think PG and MGs are kind of more up your alley anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1. And thank you so much, Dennis, for joining me today on this week's edition of Gundam Product Analysis. Now, I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to upload the other video in time. Last week was a pretty heavy week, but I think this week is even crazier with all the model kit stuff that's coming out. So we've got an itinerary for today. We're going to be talking about the new Perfect Grade Unleashed. And yes. Dennis has a couple of thoughts about this for sure. We're also going to be diving into the Endless Waltz Wing Zero custom version Katoki that has been so hotly contested amongst the community. A lot of people really hated this kit for some reason. And I'm not really sure why, because it looks like a gorgeous kit, I mean, in hindsight. And we're also going to discuss about the entry grade that's supposed to be coming out onto store shelves in the United States in probably the next week or so. I think Japan just got a shipment. It's in the hands of some Asian YouTubers. So look forward to that. So let's get into our first topic of discussion, the Perfect Grade Unleashed. Dennis, your initial thoughts?
You want to show a picture or something with the thing?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
So,
there's like a whole 3-minute video about this.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely gonna be checking that video out. But here we go. This is the Perfect Grade Unleashed RX-7882 Gundam. So it's retailing for close to $300, $275. And I think what is crazy about this, at least according to Bandai, is that they're trying to incorporate everything that they've learned from the Gunpla Evolution projects. So I think the examples that they gave was like the LED system for like the Exia, the build quality of the HG Leo, the details of the real grade crossbone, the transformation sequence of the unicorn, I think, and the I don't know, I forgot. They did showcase the Zeta, and I can't remember if it was for something like details or something, or gimmicks. It may have been like gimmicks.
Yeah, and this is kind of like a, yeah, this, there you go. Like they call it the phase 1, phase 2, all the way to phase 5.
Right.
Exactly what you said, incorporating all of the engineering and innovation that has come so far, and then put it into the new kind of perfect grade. And I think that this is actually a, I think that this is a very, for some, I think that this is, I think this is actually the perfect grade refresh that everyone would expect. yeah, yeah, this will be like the perfect grade that everyone would expect, like the quality, right? Like you have a lot of panel lines, you have a lot of details, your armor can break apart, um, and things like that. That's actually, yeah, that's actually something that that's actually something that I have a little bit of complaint about with the perfect grade. It sometimes looks like a very big master grade, and then it does, and then from a shelf, from like shelf presence standpoint, like, oh, that just it just looks like a bigger master grade,
Mhm.
you know. But there are certain kits, such as like the strike, um, Ail Strike, like the new one, where they're adding a lot of those like details and scribe, basically panel line. That makes it just like another level, almost like I want to say like real grade, like a real grade perfect grade where they're adding a lot more of those. So there's like so much things to go over here. It's actually pretty exciting. This is what I think that a perfect grid would be in terms of like, you have all the gimmicks, everything is inside. You have all this hatch open stuff, that they learned from like Unicorn and also Verka, New Gundam, and also Sazabi. And then all the like the articulation, like the articulation that they had from before. So just that is a lot of things here. So I don't know where we want to begin. Maybe we'll talk about like each picture
Uh,
by picture. I don't know.
well, no, it's okay. Um, so I wanted to point out a couple of things after just scrolling through these pictures. It's interesting that they include uh, one extra beam saber. So it's making me think that maybe two of them are static, and then maybe the other one is the light up LED gimmick. Now I know that from watching the video that we'll be showing also on this channel pretty shortly, uh, that once you put the beam saber inside, it looked like it was able to allow the light piping to have the thruster start to glow. One thing I also noticed, and these are not in any particular order, the shield design is a little bit different. So if we
Mhm.
scroll down here, you can actually take a closer look. And through all the hatch opening gimmicks, I did not notice any significant reason why this is the case. But this white portion here at the bottom end of the shield has a different proportion than the regular RX-78 design.
Yes.
And so it
Yep.
it looks a little bit different. So it looks like they're trying to, the red is not exactly like a technological militaristic look, but the white is. And so I think by adding a little bit more of the white in comparison to the red, it gives it like a different aesthetic. And I think that's the only reason for this, but I'm interested to see if this ends up being some sort of gimmick later on. And then another thing I wanted to bring up was these pictures here. Actually, not those pictures. Uh, these pictures here, showcasing the level or articulation. So I think they advertise in the video that, I don't know, something crazy like 100 different points of articulation, and you can kind of see it here with the way that there is like almost a twist at the thigh, because if you had the axis of the thigh kind of going this way, right, you can see that's not exactly flush with this shin and even the foot. So it has this gentle twist that makes it look a little bit more organic. And the
Mm.
same thing for the arm as well. Like you can see that the way that it's moving, the way it's gently tilted, it looks more natural. And I think they showcase that in the video as well with the hip joint. How when you move the leg, the armor will actually kind of buckle out a little bit,
Yeah.
indicating that this is one natural flowing movement. So I thought that was really fascinating. And just a sidebar, just look at the sass on Sayla. Like, look at that. Look at that. I
Yeah, I
mean,
didn't even pay attention to that. Like, look at that. Woo!
yeah, for the fact that these are almost like throwaway figures, I know some people really care about these figures that come with the model kits, but for the most part, I would say 99% of people just clip these out and put them into bags. And so the amount of effort that they're putting into even these figures is just amazing, right? Because I can tell you, I don't even know where my Benager 1/60th scale figures are anymore. Like they're somewhere. I know I have them. I never display them. But it's great because I don't know if they actually provided a Sela in the first one. I don't even know if they provided an Amuro in the first one. But now you get two, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we can take a look here at these LED pictures. So what's interesting is the different colors that you're able to choose, somewhat similar to the new MGEX Unicorn, how you can have the red or the green cycle frame, but now you get two additional options. You have the blue and you have yellow. Now, I think this also appears on the thruster as well.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if this extends down into the legs, but we'll take a quick look at the video right now. So, come on, go away, control thing. All right. All right. And with the magic of editing, we have the video here right in front of us. So let's go and take a look. So I want to make sure that everybody can hear the computer sound. So let's go and do this.
Gunpla 40th anniversary. Freedom from shackles has now led to the ultimate form of evolution.
Ultimate form.
Connecting the present day to the future of Gunpla. Perfect Grade Unleashed. RX-78-2 Gundam. The Gunpla Evolution Project has taken on challenges
Action. That's what it was called. Action.
To create technological revolutions. A culmination of evolution. A step-by-step assembly to experience evolution in each phase. Multiple forms of evolution overlap and link together, incorporating the Gunpla Evolution Link system. The largest insert molded frame in Gunpla history has been adopted. This enables the speediest assembly of the entire internal frame in PG history.
Okay, so I know you want to talk about this thing, Dennis, and Sunny actually brought this up too. And so she was saying, do you necessarily want to build the perfect grade at such a high speed?
That's a good question.
Right.
If it's like a $300 kit, I probably want to take my sweet ass time and enjoy it.
Right. And that's exactly the point that she brought up. She was like, don't you want to take your time to build the inner frame? And this is something that I think Xavier actually addressed too, about this frame. But the way that I kind of see it is, it's kind of like the Pokemon games, where beating the Elite Four used to be like this really big thing nowadays, or back in the day. But nowadays it's all about EV training and like hatching and getting shinies and stuff like that. So it's more like the end game material is like the actual game now. And so I feel like Bandai is also kind of trying to push that envelope where completing the kit maybe used to be like a huge deal back in the day, maybe like 10 years ago. But now they want to move along the community to doing other things like painting, scratch building, etching, customization work, that kind of stuff. And they want to see or they want to enable the community to be able to work on these other modeling techniques and not just straight building Gunpla anymore.
No,
And
I can see that. I can see that.
yeah, at least for the hardcore models, and then for like the casual builders, you know, at least you're able to get a perfect grade and not say, oh, it's just going to take me like weeks. It's just going to sit in my backlog. You know, I don't have time because of work or school. So I don't really want to invest in this. But maybe after seeing this, people are like, oh, maybe I can build this now. Right. So
that's a good point. I never saw it that way. But yeah, I agree. And you and I both kind of like the relationship of, the relationship between us and the hobby now is more like, oh, like I probably enjoy more about painting the kit than building.
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it depends on where you're at. But I do think that's a very interesting observation. And everyone enjoys the hobby differently, at different stages. I had a day where, like I had a phase before where I told my mom, I was like, hey, bring like 5 kids from Taiwan, and then I'll build all 5 kids in like a week. And I'm like, this is so fun. You just get addicted. All that dopamine. It just, oh yeah, I finished this and I'm gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah, no, I was right in the same boat. I mean, I remember cranking out like 3 high grades in a day one time. And I was like, this is just so much fun. Like I can't get enough of this. And then I realized, oh shoot, I don't have enough space to keep all of this anymore.
Yeah.
But maybe this perfect grade will change my mind. So who knows?
So getting back to this is talking about using a pre-constructed, pre-built frame. Same thing as the real grade, except it was very flimsy before, right? So I'm actually really hoping that they solve those issues by like make the frame stronger and more reliable over time. Well, also basically it doesn't lose over time, right? So your leg is not like flopping around like this, like once you pick it up.
So
that's my only issue.
So I would always kind of describe Gunpla in terms of its build quality, right? So in like 2007 and before, so like the Gundam seed suits, I would describe that most of the kit was put together through polyethylene and polystyrene. So polystyrene is just kind of like the regular feel of like the actual plastic of like the armor, and that rubbing against like the polycaps. So it was very rigid, but there wasn't too much you could really do with it. So then afterwards, they started moving over to just mostly polyethylene stuff. So lots of polycap joints and scattering that throughout like the suit, and then even making some of the parts out of polyethylene. So you kind of almost have like this really loose rubbery kind of feel. And I would describe that with like the Iron Blood Orphans kits, the 30-minute missions kits like right now, and the current high grades. That's why after like 1 or 2 poses, they kind of get a little floppy. But they've started doing something with the real grades now, and that's almost entirely making the frames. And I think they do this with like a lot of master grades. I think maybe starting with the master grade Freedom 2.0, where they make the frame out of ABS plastic. So think like Lego bricks. They're very like robust. They're not, you can move them around, but they're not really going to flop on you. And they can hold their pose for a very long period of time. That's like what the unicorn or like some of the perfect grades are typically made out of. That's what the real grade Sazabi and the new Gundam, I believe, are made out of. So I'm wondering if they're going to kind of do the same sort of thing. But you'll notice that the frame that they kind of use in the newer model kits are not strictly like Lego brick quality, right? They're a little bit softer. so you have a little bit more give. They're a tad bit thinner, so it, you know, that sounds like a bad thing, but it's actually a pretty good thing, because it means that when you stick them together and you need to pull them back apart, they're not just going to snap on you. Or like if you add too much stress, like it's, you know, it's not going to be so tightly bound that it's just going to break.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's not going to be like the old real grade frame like you were talking about, where it's mostly like that floppy polyethylene kind of material that's just going to wiggle, right?
If you pay attention to the material, how it's used, you know, like, so I'm not completely sure what materials are made of with those in the frame, but I can say usually there's two kinds of in the frame, because what they're called is called multi-shot, multi-shot, what was that thing called? Multi-shot injection molding, right? So you have one layer of material that's here, and then after you form that let's just say this is, let's say this is one layer, and then now you have another layer that's going to be a different plastic. That plastic actually has to move around here with the articulation. I just say for your arm, they will basically do another shot of the plastic on top. If they were to do the same plastic, what happens is that it will actually fuse with the original, and then they'll put another one, probably, you know, like another one to another layer on, so then it becomes a articulated joint, right? So then that's they do this multi-shot over molding technique to make the joint that you're seeing in the model kits today. Now,
so if people really want to know what Dennis is talking about, look up the real grade red frame.
Okay.
Yeah, look up the real grade red frame, and you can clearly see exactly what Dennis is talking about with the multi-shot injection molding, because you can see the layers of white and then red and then white again. So sorry about that, Dennis.
Yeah, so that's actually a very good one. Like, that's a very good example, but you can even see it with like the first real grade. It's just, oh, this is so cool. How did they do it? Like, it's just injection molding where you stack layer on top of each other, bam, 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 and then that's how they form that articulation. So usually this is like three layers of material, right? So it's probably, I just say ABS, and then you have some sort of like stopper material, and then you have another layer, and then that's how you form your like joint. So for example, like the picture, right, that we're seeing right here, that's 3 layers, maybe 4, I don't know, right? Like, I'm just trying to say that like that's how they're forming that forming that frame. So I'm really hoping that the frame is sturdier than the real grade, and I will hope so. If someone's paying $300 for this, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is a pretty hefty price tag to get a pre-built frame and then not know whether or not it's going to hold up. So I was hit by this with the high resolution Wing Zero Custom, where my pre-built frame, the leg joint snapped, and it came broken. So I don't really have a standing Wing Zero Custom high resolution kit, and I paid like $100 for that. So I can't even imagine the same thing happening to a $300 kit. That would be just devastating. But yeah, let's continue on with the video.
The frame functions as a core for interlocking mechanisms throughout the body. The highest number of
Okay, so this was what I was talking about. It's like 94 points of articulation, and that's kind of just insane to see. Let me see if I can slow this down. Let's do some. Take a look at that. All right, let's cut off the sound. But yeah, like this part right here is just really cool. Now that doesn't really seem like anything kind of crazy, unless I'm blind and I completely missed something.
No, it doesn't. we won't know, right? They're only showing what they want to show you. So
Yeah, because I mean, I definitely seen this part move, that part move, before on like other model kits, but
so go back to it again. So
yeah, sure.
so go back to it. I will say stop, and then move forward a little. All right, so stop. This is the kind of stuff where you will imagine whatever you think a human body can do, your Gundam will be able to do it. And I think that there is a lot of focus in the articulation department, right? Like
Right, yeah.
Like we saw with the Gundam G40, where it's insane articulation. And then now they're putting everything as like, here, this is like the best thing that you can do. Like, what model kit do you know that can do this kind of like where the neck can do this and that? You can't. Does the does the actual robot need to do that? Absolutely. I don't think so. But it will be cool to have it.
Right. Actually, this kind of brings up like a really good point that you kind of brought up about just getting RX-78s in general. So I was talking about this with Stanley the other day, about how you don't really need to buy into the hype. I mean, this is really cool, right? I'm not going to lie that this is not the coolest thing that we've ever seen as of 2020, but you don't really need to feed off of this hype, because there's always going to be an RX-78 that's going to have the latest technology of injection molding, of Bandai's engineering, that'll come out every single year, or maybe every other year or something like that. Anytime there's a new line, anytime there's a new type of technology, the RX-78 is going to have that. So there is really no rush in getting this RX-78 if you just want an RX-78. So
if you're going to get one RX-78,
I mean, as of right now, October 10th, 2020, then yes, maybe you probably want to get this one. But I mean, like you were saying, like they're always going to create RX-78s. They'll always create them. So
it's kind of like their test bed, right? Like
right, yeah.
And it also means something a lot to them. So 40th anniversary, they probably had this project for like the past like year and a half. It is now just announced. So usually, like, these are not easy engineering, and product design. These takes a lot of time to actually think about, like, hey, what would our customer want? Okay, I think the customer wants to have a very articulated, they want a model kit that has a lot of articulation, such as a human being. Right. But you don't know, right? Anyways, so over here, I also think that like they're building on top of that inner frame. So now you're actually seeing the inner frame. You just don't see you just don't build the structure, basically. So I'm actually thinking that maybe all of these pieces that comes together around the pre-built frame will help, and I'm hoping that will help the pre-built frame to be even more to be sturdier than real grain.
But I mean, the sturdiness is really dependent upon the joints. So if the joints is not something that you actually, because if you're just building armor on top of things, you're not really fortifying the joints. But if they do, then that'd be really interesting to see how they fortify the joints on this kit.
Yeah, I think so. So on a really quick detail, you see the head.
Yeah.
You see the head right there, where there will be like a little piping system.
Yeah, I see these belts.
Yes.
I think this is really cool. So this is really interesting because it kind of feeds into the lore a little bit about like where the bullets, the belt would go in to feed for ammo, and then where it, kind of feeds back, the casings into the head.
Yeah.
Because like you never see casings just drop. when the Gundam is firing its Vulcans. It's just there, right?
Yeah.
So here's another interesting thing where you were talking about how the Gundam is always the test bed for technologies, right? Pushing the envelope. So while the Gundam is the test bed, I would argue that the new Gundam would be like the pinnacle of their stuff. So if you would look at like the high grade new Gundam that has still persisted in terms of like kind of almost like a standard. You have like the High New Brave and stuff that came out a couple of years after the original High New Gundam that came out. The new Gundam real grade that is revered as like one of the best, real grade model kits. After the debacle of the first Gundam real grade, and then the master grade version Kotoki new Gundam that people still think is a really good version Kotoki in comparison to the version Kotoki Gundam. So we could say that when you see that a new Gundam perfect grade comes out, that will be like the pinnacle of perfect grade technology.
That may be true because I mean, even from like a Gundam, timeline, UC timeline standpoint, like Zeta, okay, like you can talk about like, okay, Zeta Gundam is a successor of RX-78 or like Mark II is RX. Like, no, the successor of RX-78 is actually the new Gundam because piloted by Amuro. Right? It is actually the last Gundam that's pilot. So it is technically a true successor. So I think now you brought that point. I think that's a pretty interesting observation, because I do think that the master grade new Gundam Verka is one of the best designed kit, and it is because of that. I think they use that kit to embody a lot of articulation and also these gimmicks about like open hatches and stuff, like just adding like extra details that it doesn't have to be there,
right? Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. That's all you need to care.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about that because of the polling that had taken place about what was Japan's like favorite Gundam, and it has consistently been the new Gundam. So of course they want to create the best version of the new Gundam that they possibly can, but they want that familiarity. So they're going to use the Gundam as the test bed for all of their new technologies. And then once they perfect those technologies and have confidence in their product, then they'll put all of their best efforts into the new Gundam design.
Whenever they are going to have a master grade, perfect grade new Gundam Suzabi, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah. I'm going to stay as far away from that as I possibly can.
It's going to be like a $400-500.
Yeah. Let's not think about that. Let's move on. So increase the speed a little bit. And
natural and dynamic poses can be enjoyed. The dense multi-layer structure was developed through an intense examination of the settings. Plating and metallic parts have been adopted for the truss frames.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out if these are actual heat sinks or is this just detail?
Details. I think those are details, but they do have aluminum parts, and then I think it's gonna be like the next or something like that.
I don't know. They have a lot of LEDs. I don't know how hot these LEDs are gonna be.
You gotta buy to find out, man.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna wait for people to buy it so that we can find out later.
I'm gonna ask my friends.
Mechanics are expressed through a dense design. Various materials have been used throughout the body. Metal parts, secondary processed parts of plating, newly developed.
Okay, this is really cool, but then I can't, yeah, all right, I see it on the other screen. Etching stickers. What is your thoughts on etching stickers?
Etching stickers. So this is most likely, actually what this one is. It may be a very thin plastic or very thin metal that went through like an etching process to have very fine details such as these little slits. I can tell you that it is. I can tell you that these are not easy to. These are not cheap. Okay, so we are thinking about like where the $300 would go. Partially, the $300 going through, going to this this part, right? So
Yeah, because you have to think about all the machining that's kind of going through this and like all of that AutoCAD design.
well, there's no machining over here, so at least speaking from what I know from engineering, etching basically is like they basically have like a little plate, and then let's just say this is like a really big sheet of aluminum or like whatever material, and then what they would do is they will mask, so all these holes, right? Like basically they will be unmasked, and
Right,
then
yeah, these holes here.
yeah, they will be unmasked, and then they go into like acid bath or bath, and then and then all of this are all of those holes are actually dissolved, right? Like materials that's not being masked, that they will be dissolved, and that's how they would do it. That's how they make like millions of
Oh,
these. So
interesting.
these are very fine details, not machined. Otherwise, if you're looking at a machine part, in any of these kits, is probably going to be like thousands of dollars. They're not going to put a machine part in there. But I can tell you that like this is actually very cool, right? Probably a very thin material that just puts in the back that lets you have that detail.
So the thing that I'm kind of curious about is why did they use that word stickers and show this part then? So that's the part that I'm kind of, are they talking about like the masking process like you're suggesting?
No, chem etching is actually the process. So chemical etching, if you guys can go find it, is actually part like you can find a process that's actually pretty cool. So this can be like a very thin piece of plates of metal, and then they put it on, and then what they do is they probably have like a sheet of sticker, and then in the back there's like adhesive, and then they probably
Okay.
this in the back to give you that kind of detail. That's why they said etching sticker. I don't know. Like I'm just basing off of like what I know from engineering, and then what this piece is gonna be. It's probably like a very thin piece of metal. I don't know why they will keep it as plastic. Honestly, this
Right,
is
because they did mention metal pieces in the last two images that they showed. So I would assume that this third image is also going to be metal as well.
yeah. I mean, phase 4 is kind of where they're telling you like, hey, this is where your money is going with that $300.
All the detail, right? Like all the expensive stuff.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is actually very awesome, right? Like when did Bandai ever included a metal piece, metal parts before, other than screws?
I mean, that's a very fair point. I can't imagine. Oh, all right. So I do know that the very old 1/144th scale new Gundam did come with metal thrusters, but this is like the one that came out in like 1990 or something like that. It's very old. It's the one that had like the super old box art. Yeah,
okay.
that's like one of those like holy grail kits that like, really intense modelers want to get. Not me, because I'm still a noob and I don't think that I'm that great of a builder. So I'm going to stay away from that kit if I can.
Yeah.
But you're right. Since that time, I can't think of any model kit that's come with metal parts, much less metal etched parts. So
Yeah. It's
um,
just new things that they're adding in there. It's very cool. That's what I'm trying to like. That's what I'm seeing here. This is
right.
where your $300 is going in, guys.
It's
300.
this part, this one part. So don't mess up this part.
All right,
Don't mess it up.
let's move on.
Etching stickers and metallic 3D stickers.
Okay, what do you think about these metallic 3D stickers? Let me move it.
Newly developed etching stickers and metallic
Metallic 3D stickers is probably a this is most likely a plastic piece that is painted or that that like that's a painted red. 3D most likely just means like a plate, right? So I think what you're going to get in this one is you're going to have a lot of these details where you're going to have a lot of these stickers. These stickers are
They're gonna be nice, high quality, dense, thick stickers. The ones that you're gonna like looking at, the ones that you're gonna like feeling, touching, texturing, that kind of stuff.
yeah. I think the closest one is probably the MG H1 where they had
Right.
a thick sticker just on the
legs, on the shins.
leg. It's kind of like that. It's going to be a plate, right? Like I think this is what that is. I mean, or this can be a piece of metal. I don't think this is going to be a piece of metal. That's
I feel like that'd be just too much. Like, can you imagine them like that poor person in like the Yokohama like factory just cutting out these small pieces of metal to stick into bags? Like,
Nah, man. If they have to do that, your kid will be $400 more expensive.
Right.
3D stickers. These materials allow for the item to be assembled with a high degree of completion.
All right, here's the money shot.
Enabled through the latest technology.
Yes.
Okay, so what is this? This is first activation, normal activation, and then I don't think I can read the bottom two. Oh, high power and maintenance. Okay.
That's dude, I would love to keep it as normal activation, where is the pink lights. I'm wondering if you can actually modulate what color that you choose. Most likely not.
Most likely not.
Different ones. If you can actually choose like what color you want this to be.
Right.
Like, what if you want like pink eye and then blue, like chest light and stuff like that. Yeah, man, this is in the last one, we already talked about, okay, what would be the perfect, like what would be the perfect,
like the one kit that you wanted, the only kit that you wanted.
Give me lots of lights.
This is your ideal kit, is what I'm hearing. What I'm also hearing is that Bandai is actually listening to their customers. They're listening to all their customers, all the things that they're talking about, all the things that they're complaining about, and then they've bundled it all together into one nice spicy package. And now here's your package. That's what I'm hearing.
At a small price of $300.
I mean, with the cost of inflation and stuff like that, I'd say it's not that bad, right?
I'm gonna have to look at what is it like a yen to dollar conversion, right? So yen to dollar.
I think it's still about 1-to-1, or not 1-to-1, 1-to-100. So I think it's gonna be about $270, or like close to $300 after tax, shipping, whatever other extra expenses. 260.
So if you were to buy it over in United States right now, they're selling for like $290, which is not that bad. And like you're adding the premiums and stuff over here.
Yeah. Middleman costs. So all right. It does look really cool though.
The new full color LED unit enables 4 types of light up effects.
See.
The beam
4
slider
types
has light up functions.
Yeah, there we go. So we see this beam saber light up, but we don't see this beam saber light up. So I think that's the reason why you have 3 beam sabers in the product promotion scans. So one of them has the LED, designated LED, and you have light piping that goes through this backpack, and that LED in here is what illuminates everything inside this backpack.
That's what they're talking about. A beam saber. A.
Yeah, a beam saber, not 3 beam sabers.
Yes, yes, yes. This is very important.
Yeah.
Hatch opening gimmicks have been incorporated.
This is cool.
Oh man, it's like
I mean,
every freaking dream.
Yeah,
Sure.
this is I think that's the only reason why they had those heat sinks. Just so you can see something when you open the hatch.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense, right? Like you stop.
I feel like we gotta slow these down. Okay, there's like too much stuff going on.
Yeah, I was the mute the video complete. Yeah, there
we go.
So this is okay. Like there's nothing to show here.
Yeah, I mean it's slowly going through stuff so that, but we can look over here on the left hand side. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't see this the first time around. This is opening up here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these things here. This is really similar to the unicorn.
53 sections of hatch opening gimmicks. Oh man.
It's all the legs, dude. And then two additional ones over here. And then this is the one that went way too fast. Okay, so this crotch section goes down. Obviously the cockpit opens and we see some stuff on the arms.
Whoa, that's insane. Oh,
this
God.
opens up. This opens up. Oh, wait, I think this slides down.
Oh my God, this is crazy. What?
Oh, no. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so this slides down. This opens up. This part opens, I guess.
This is sick. Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah, this does open up. It's just like, it's kind of like the unicorn.
I don't think there's anything here. Yeah,
I think it's just the mechanism and how this opens. So I guess this part here opens up because this is the cockpit here. And then you kind of have the traditional like sliding up like track so that this can like extend out, and then you have enough give where you're able to move the whole hatch open. Yeah. That's kind of interesting. Oh, holy crap, I didn't see this part. All right, so I guess all of this opens up here.
Where?
This right here.
Oh God, dude, that makes sense.
This chest open. Yeah, this part goes. Oh man,
that one makes sense. Yeah, this is insane.
This is amazing stuff. Oh, look at that. Okay, I mean, I think they already showed this part. Just these 2 hatches, right? No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Oh my God. 53, dude. 53.
So that opens this up. This is kind of like
the video too slow.
This is kind of like the
speed up a little bit more.
Oh no, that's it. We're done.
Oh, that is sick.
Right?
That's sick. Yes.
It's super cool.
Of evolution linked together to lead to the ultimate culmination. Perfect Grade Unleashed RX-78-2 Gundam. Releasing a gen.
All right, so I think this is gonna pretty much be the video. It's just this. I don't think we can even get to the other stuff today. We'll probably have to talk about it later.
This is actually pretty cool. So I want to add a couple more things here. You see,
let's do final thoughts. Thoughts.
You see the shoulder here, that detail, that rounded on the left hand side. On the left.
So this one?
No, on the left image.
Oh, this. Oh, yeah. Here.
You see that shoulder? That's not a traditional design, right?
That's definitely not a traditional design. And you can kind of see it a little bit here. You can see it over here a little bit. And I don't know, I feel like it might be acting as like a sliding track for this. Like, it's obviously not this part that's acting as a sliding track, but probably towards the front portion of it, that might be like curved just so that it allows a little bit of give for the shoulder to actually move up.
Probably from a like design standpoint, that would probably make sense. Where this is a lot of things have to go on and off that, so we don't know. You know, I just thought that was a pretty cool detail that they added in here. It is certainly very cool.
Right.
Thoughts? Okay. Why don't you go first?
Final thoughts? Okay. Well, my final thoughts is I'm wondering if Dennis is going to buy this kit.
What kind of question is this? Analysis. This is not what kit would Dennis spend money on.
But is this a kit? Is this a kit that you're going to spend money on?
That's not fair, man. I'm throwing it right back at me. What is this? All right. I think this is I actually think that this. Sorry. So, question: how much are perfect grades right now?
So I think that
let's not add like the LED units and all that one.
Right. About $250, I'd say. So very close to what this suggested retail price is.
Okay, so what about let's look at I'm going to tell you guys this model kit is actually worth it. And then PG Ale Strike. Right? You get the most bare bone $140 for the base kit, and then if you want the perfect strike PG is $240. All right, or if you want the PG strike Rouge with the Sky Grasper is $190. Right?
Yeah. So the way that I typically see it is that anything that's a fairly old base kit, right? That's a perfect grade. So anything like before the strike typically runs you a little bit under $200. So like $120 to like $140 for like a base kit. So that includes things like the Gundam, the Zaku's, the just regular strike, the Astray, that kind of stuff. If you want something that's a little bit bigger, like the Zephyranthes or the Zeta Gundam, or like the Wing Zero, actually even the Wing Zero custom might even be like around the 190, like almost 200, but like the little bit bigger ones sets you about like 200. And then Unicorn and stuff, because it's a little bit bigger, but kit transforms, they tend to go like 250. And then LED units included would be like another $100.
Yeah, I am going to tell you that this kit is worth buying. Consider the price range that all of the perfect grades are at. And on top of that, with all the new, I don't want to say gimmicks, right? So you can always design gimmicks into new things. Look at how much details you're getting. Like, think about all the extra stuff that you're getting with this kit, like the extra details of stickers. You're getting the light unit that comes with it, a single package, new engineering, metal pieces, fine, throwing articulation. You get like the best articulation that you can get in perfect grade. This is probably the best package that you can get. Like, I will even say it will be kind of like, here we have the master grade that we have so far. Let's just go back to like 2011. I think that's when the new Gundam per Cup first came out. Mm-hmm. You have all these model kits that came before that, which is like, okay, I get the inner frame, I get more details. than my high grade. That's the natural progression, right? Suddenly they came out with the Verka new Gundam. We're like, oh shoot, this is everything. That's what it should be considered as the like a new, now it sets like a new standard for all of the current master grades, with the details, with the gimmicks, with the articulation, with the engineering, everything added together in one package. That is, you know, like, what was it? Verka was $80, $80 to $90. I mean, you can find one now for like 70 or something like that if you're lucky. But that's
Right.
that's nuts, right? Like they're not charging you a long arm and leg just for the new thing that we're adding in. They're charging you for the actual material that goes into this. So metal parts, extra stickers, you know, I think it's worth it, man. Like it's actually I would say this is worth $250. You're really looking at about $50 worth of extra cost on top of what's average for perfect grade. Sorry, that's like a big ass rent, but that's just how I'm gonna justify it as worth buying. Would I spend money on this? Yes. All right. Like throw out the Phoenix Gundam PG. I don't want that, you know, like that's stupid. Give me this. I like this shiny, clean design with lots of details. Am I ever gonna, is it probably going to sit in my shelf for a while? Yeah, of course. So some of my other kids.
Okay, cool. So what I'm hearing is, yes, you are gonna buy this. You're gonna buy this. You're gonna buy this.
The price is right? Like again, if I can ask my friend to buy me one from Taiwan, which is most likely gonna be under that 25,000 yen price.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Probably somewhere around like 23. So you're like 10% off.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will be worth it for sure.
So my thoughts on this is that so to kind of be the devil's advocate to your argument about whether or not it's worth it, right? I always think about how the Wing Zero Custom, I remember seeing that being about like $200, right? Back in the day when it first came out. Everybody thought it was a hot ticket item. Everybody wanted to get one. And then I recently saw it at the Bluefin sale in a discount bargain area for about like $100, right? And the thing about this Perfect Grade Unleashed, as cool as it is, as hype as it is still not a P Bandai kit. It's a regular release kit. And so as time progresses, as time marches on, the value of this kit will continue to diminish as Bandai creates new technologies. And so kind of like what you're saying, as long as you can get at the right price, right? And if the right price isn't right now, then you can just wait a little bit. And by a little bit, it would be like, you know, a couple of years, maybe a decade. The price will start to drop a lot. Yeah. For me, the only reason why I can imagine buying this kit is how I would pose it, right? Like you can look at like this pose, and this pose, but what out of these three poses, right? Which one shows off all 5 of those technologies that sets this model kit apart? So when a person looks at this kit, they'll say, wow, this is really cool, right? It's actually none of these poses. This one's the closest because of the hatch opening gimmicks. But what would really show it off is, I think, a kneeling pose with the lights on and the hatch open, like all the hatches open. I think that's the most, that's the most ideal pose.
I was thinking that exact same thing.
Right. So if that's like exactly what you want to pose, if you have the real estate for it, if you have the space to put that, then you should totally buy this kit. But if you just want a standing RX-78-2 Gundam that looks like this, you're wasting your money, to be honest. Like if you're not having the LEDs on, you're wasting your money. If you're not having it in some really cool kneeling pose to show off its articulation in some way, you're wasting your money. If you're not opening up the hatches when you buy this kit, I feel like you're kind of wasting your money.
Yeah. Here,
right?
I'm gonna basically share this with you as a picture for Gundam kneeling. Right. So is that pose? Not that. This one. So it will be this, but with the hatches open, and then basically the arm comes out,
right,
and the arm roll like standing there. That will be like super cool, like right next to your TV. People are like, what is that thing? And they were just like shining lights, from its back with all its glory and stuff.
And so I guess for people who are watching this who don't really know Dennis and I's like ideas, we are not going to buy every single kit that kind of comes out, right? And we're very selective of what we want our kits to actually do. And so that's why we're going to always ask this question of like whether or not this kit is actually worth it for you, and whether or not you're actually going to display it and put it out, right? Because if you're not going to display your kit, why are you buying the kit other than building it, right? And I'm a victim of that too, because I put a lot of my kits, in boxes and stuff. I don't really display them out. But I think that if you buy a kit as expensive as this is, it deserves to be shown, right? It absolutely deserves to be shown. So
yeah.
Right. But I think, man, I might want to buy this kit too. Right? Like, so I mean, I already have like a pretty decent perfect grade collection, right? And like a big model kit collections. And I think, putting this hatch open, everything like that in between my unicorn and my Banshee would look pretty stellar.
I mean, if you can pull up an image side by side of a perfect grade original Gundam versus what it would be now, you will see how much has progressed in Gunpla.
Is that the link that you sent me?
No, the link that I sent you is Exia, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Let's see here. Perfect grade RX 78. It's just the new ones.
You probably will be able to see.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That is a massive master grade, like by standard now, by our expectations now. This is a massive master grade, right? That is what we think a master grade will do. So as our expectation continue to increase, Bandai actually has to keep up with all of our expectations. So that's why they come out with what is the next level of perfect grade, right? Like, look at this. Like, this is the Unleashed. You're like, oh my God, it looks beautiful.
Right. And like, I think it looks really cool. I mean, I don't know when you'd be able to ignite the beam saber. I think the beam saber too. Like, it has to be like some sort of combination of a kneeling pose that utilizes all the articulation, hatch opening with like the beam saber out and the lights on. Show off everything, right? Like, you need to show that beam saber because there are no other light up beam sabers that you can get, as far as I know, that Bandai just gives with a kit, right? You need to show this off. Putting it inside the backpack is just, you can't do that. You have to show it off.
Maybe you ought to buy 2 of them.
No, I'm not. I think you need to buy 2 of them. But yeah, man, I think this might be a buy for me because it looks so good. And then you also have the working, core lander or core fighter. So
look at that pose. Look at that pose, right? Like, the old master grade can't do this. I mean, you ought to pose it in some way to do this, right?
I think it can do this. This is not that difficult of a pose.
I guess. It's just so much, like you're getting so much with the, you know, like with $50 more.
Okay, so
That's how I'm seeing it.
I didn't notice this. Um, do you see how this is reflective, right? This knee is actually not on the ground.
That's right. Well, you
Right?
don't know
Like,
if it actually can do the kneeling pose. I'm pretty sure it can.
I feel like it should be able to, but that worries me a little bit. I didn't notice this before.
Maybe one con. One con.
Yeah, but I mean, like that breaks the whole thing, right? Like I said, light or lit up, hatch open, kneeling pose, beam saber out, right? So I would have to find some other way to show off the articulation, because this is definitely not showing off the articulation. Why did you buy a model kit with say like 97 whatever 98 like different articulated points?
And I just have it floating. Yeah.
Right? So actually, let's look at these pictures, these promo pictures, because they're always going to show off the best pose, right? That they possibly can. So which one is the most articulated pose? These clearly are not. This kinda sorta is.
No, that just showing you the multiple layers of material.
Right? So you have this. That's not terribly difficult to pull off. That's not terribly difficult to pull off. This is not either. That's not any different.
Is the kneeling one, man.
It's either the kneeling one or it's maybe possibly this.
Yeah.
But maybe. So I don't know. That's worrisome.
I don't think that's a deal breaker, right? If you go up to that kneeling pose. Okay. I'm pretty sure this can do a kneeling pose because the articulation for this one, if they were to pull the front leg in a little bit, then they may
the front leg out a little bit, maybe
out or in, basically to lower the entire kit, right? Like it is only hanging because this leg in the front, it's taller than your knee. That's the only reason. I'm pretty sure you can make it work. I think it's a matter of, just a matter of like finding that like balance.
I just think that like the people who are taking pictures at Bandai would know this. So why? I mean, like, are they trying to just show that, oh yeah, we can have this like perfectly perpendicular to the ground, and it can achieve some sort of look with its kneeling pose? Or are they trying to say like, even though this knee is not on the ground, our ABS plastic is so robust that it's able to hold this pose?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, now you only really have front foot as a support, and then your toe, the toe will most likely articulate, is supporting. Yeah. Maybe that's their statement. It's like, yeah, maybe that's their statement. We don't know.
Maybe. But I think that's all the time we have for today. So this was a really great segment. Thanks very much, Dennis, for our analysis of the perfect grade RX-78 Unleashed. And then we'll have to talk about the other two topics very soon. So.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you again for having me. This is awesome. Longer than we thought, but this is very good news.
Yes, it is very great news. And thank you so much for everyone who was able to join us. And we'll catch you all next time.
Awesome.
All right. And I will cut that.